Hi, welcome back to Cheyenne, Wyoming, Urban Gardener. This is Debbie, and we are in Garden Zone 5A, 5B. In fact, we're supposed to get a snowstorm tomorrow and the next day, and then it's going to go back to being in the 60s and 70s. So we're going to have a couple days where it's going to get pretty cold, so I'm going to have to take all of these plants back inside and then try to... I think that the brassicas will be okay and the lettuce will be okay. Shouldn't be any problem, and these are radishes as well, so shouldn't have any issues with that. I may take the tarragon inside. I may just set it like inside of the door just to protect it, because tarragon usually does not overwinter in 5A, 5B, so I'm kind of surprised that it did, and I want to try to maintain that, so we're going to go ahead and get that one preserved as well. And my mint that I set out here just the other day, this is the chocolate mint, has not enjoyed being outside, but we do have some new little shoots in here that are a little bit tougher than some of these older leaves. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this back, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut this end off and propagate it just in case. And I do have another chocolate mint inside, so if I have any trouble with that, I do have another one to replace it. Just when it overwinters and you take them inside and then bring them back outside, they can need a little hardening off, and this is what I was doing with this one. But sometimes, even if you're trying to harden them off, they don't enjoy it. So I will take it back inside, see if it greens up over the next couple of days, try to get some propagation out of it just in case. But otherwise, I did not plant a whole lot of anything. I've just planted some seeds. I've got some spinach that's up. Spinach will go through a snowstorm. I'll need to take my basil inside, but I'm kind of debating that because I'm going to start new basil anyway, and there's only a couple of them left. I've had a lot of people come and collect basil off of me, so that's all that's left right now is what's in there. So I just may leave this outside and just put a cup over it for the next couple of days. That'll probably keep them protected. And then I just have some more lettuce that's up, and that will go ahead and live through a little bit of a snowstorm. I did go ahead and get my kiddie pools, all with drainage in them now. I just used an X-Acto knife to cut through and make some cross cuts all over and even a little bit up on the sides, just so it gets proper drainage. And again, I do have 2 kiddie pools now in addition to the one that I already had, so there's 3 in total. And then I have room for one more, so I'm either going to take the one that I have out front on the north side and move it over here to the south end, or just go ahead and get another kiddie pool and then have 4 over here. So that greatly increases the amount of garden space that I have. And again, when I do these kiddie pools like this, we put a lot of drainage in the bottom. And that was my grandson. So we will go ahead and this has got some compost in it. And we layer the compost and the soil. And the compost is really cheap. You can get it at Menards, or any of your farm supplies should have some really cheap bags of compost. This particular variety is only $2.99 a bag. So it is a very, very reasonable. So again, what we do with these is that we just cut some drainage in the bottom, and then I put a layer of leaves about 6 inches deep in the bottom of the kiddie pool, and then I layer compost on top of that, and then soil. So it actually costs less if you do it that way, because you're taking up a lot more space with leaves and compost and things like that before you have to add the soil. The soil I did get on sale. Of course, you can make your own soil if you have availability to do that. And I can even use some of the spent, quote unquote, spent soil that we have. It's not spent, it's still usable. It's just that it gets to the point where it may not hold water as well. And then we can actually pour that into this soil and kind of mix it in, and it will rejuvenate that soil, especially with the compost that's in there. And the leaves will break down over time. And of course, we'll have to add a bag or 2 of soil every season after this. And of course, we are right now not going to be here another season. At least we don't think we will be. So these kiddie pools will be left to the next people that occupy the house, and if they want to keep them. So they'll need to add just some top off soil to these. I could take these with me and just remove the soil, bag it up, and take it with me, but it would be a lot of work to do so. Basically what I have in here is 2 bags of compost and 2 bags of soil, and the rest is leaves, sticks, small sticks that is, and that is about it. Now this smaller kiddie pool that we have, we did not put leaves in this one. The leaves that are in there right now are just leaves that have blown in, and we clean up as much as we can of those. But this one does not have the leaves in the bottom because it's a much smaller kiddie pool. That's why it is surrounded by other containers. But it is a very, very small kiddie pool, and it just has strawberries in it right now. We did have watermelons in it last season, but I think I'm just going to keep this one as just strawberries and then have the other ones for watermelons and things like that. Now you could add a little bit of sand to your soil as well, and that would give you the sandy loam that everyone enjoys. But I don't do that. I just keep it with the potting soil, the compost, and the leaves. And this is another one of the kiddie pools that I've converted. Again, with the same drainage, leaves, compost, soil. And that's just because these kiddie pools are a lot larger. If I stand back, you can see just how much larger they are. So they're a lot deeper. I think they're about 18 inches deep. So they will handle a little bit of some leaves, and then just put the soil over the top and the compost. So that is my kiddie pool conversion. And this gives you a lot more garden space. And like I said, we do have a whole area right here that we could add another kiddie pool to this, and we could just continue this on out and have a lot more garden space. In fact, you can see the size of that kiddie pool and then the size of my herb garden. They're very, very similar in size. And I'm going to have to add some soil to my herb garden anyway. So there you have it. So again, just a couple of bags of compost, a couple of bags of soil, leaves, a little bit of some sticks, not very big ones that is. Make sure that you kind of sift that out. You don't want really big pieces in there because it has a hard time breaking down. And the kiddie pools are basically a composite material of plastic and some sort of composite, but they're perfectly safe to grow in, and they last for years and years and years. And you can even decorate these. You can paint them if you want to. You can paint them a different color, something a little bit more fitting to something natural, but I kind of like the mixtures and colors that we have. And you can decorate around them. This is why I surround them with the other containers, and by the time everything is growing and vining and all kinds of stuff, you don't even notice that there's a kiddie pool in there. Just like last season, if you go back in some of my videos with the kiddie pool last season, you can't even really see the kiddie pool. You just notice all of the foliage and the produce that comes out of these guys. So this one's a little bit more full because it had a little bit more leaves in it. And I may have to add one more bag of soil to this big guy over here, because as you can see, it's not quite up to the same level. And once we get that done, but I may just leave it as it is because it's plenty deep enough right now. And we'll get to growing here soon. A couple of more days of some snow. We'll probably have a little bit more frost and snowing all the way up till the first week of June. That's the way it is in Garden Zone 5A, 5B, and in Wyoming. But eventually we'll be around to actually growing some stuff. So I'll need to take this lavender back inside. Like I said, the spinach will actually go through that little bit of a cold snap just fine. And I expect that the strawberries will do the same. In fact, I had transplanted a little tiny seedling strawberry that had came up in one of my containers. Must have been from a seed dropped from a bird or something. And you can see there, this guy went from much, much smaller, basically was like that. And now look how big it is. And we have a lot more seedlings that have came in over there. And looks like we even have the startings of a bloom here. So looking fantastic. And I've got some more strawberries that I'm going to be planting into this container just to fill it on out, because we didn't plant anything in this section due to the fact that we had basil in there last season and some watermelons. So we're going to go ahead and finish this on out with more strawberries. They're actually going to be white strawberries, and they're supposed to taste like a little bit like pineapple. So we will find out on that one. So anyway, hope everyone's having a great growing season out there wherever you are. I know that Tennessee and North Carolina and some other places have really got the growing going on, because they're in garden zone 7A, 7B, 8A, 8B, depending on where you are in the South. So I'm sure that you guys are already experiencing warm temperatures in the 80s and 90s and growing away. But here in Cheyenne, Wyoming, we're just now getting started. There's going to be a lot more of the garden season, and we look forward to going through that with you, and hopefully I can show you some tips and tricks that you can apply in your own setting. So like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for notices on new videos as they come out, and we shall see you in the next one.